Welcome back to another week of the good, the bad, and the ugly. And you know what? Aside from everything else I'm about to say for us this video, this wasn't too bad of a week. Even the movie I have in my bad slot, I guess, can be put into good, but for just to like make room for the bad spot, I put it in bad. Even though, on a good day, it probably is a good movie. But let's start out first with the best movie I've seen this week, and one I was really upset I didn't review, and it got taken over by the AI doc review I put up instead. Forbidden Fruits, unbelievable surprise. Going into this, I knew nothing about it, and heading out, this is such an amazing witchy horror version of Mean Girls. I think they just do an absolutely amazing job. The cast is phenomenal, and if you want a cast for the future of, I don't know, there's a Scooby Doo show coming out on Netflix, I believe. If they needed Hex Girls, you have four girls to choose from right here. I think they'd all kill it. Like, they'd all really, really kill it. You have Alexandra Shipp, who was great in this, Lola Tongue, of course, Lily Reinhart and Victoria Pendretti, who were huge, huge in this movie, and they really felt like I was watching the Hex Girls. I think they were unbelievably great in this movie. We just need more movies like this. Just let the Pretty Woman be Pretty Woman, and that's that. I think Forbidden Fruits was unbelievable. The horror was great, and I really like the Final Destination esque turn it takes towards like the last 30 minutes of the movie where everyone's just dying, especially the whole escalator scene. It's unbelievable. I thought this movie was so much fun. It was funny. I love the drama. It just felt so Mean Girl spirited. It was fucking unbelievable, and I was really, really pissed I didn't end up putting out a review for this just because I didn't have the time for it. This was great, unbelievable. I gave it an 8 out of 10. I know I'm gassing it up like I gave it a higher rating, but it probably is in my top 3 or 4 movies of the year so far. I really, really dug this. And for my second movie of the week that I haven't good, They Will Kill You. If you haven't seen my review for that, I really dug this. I thought this was what Ready or Not 2 should have been. The action, the camera work. I think everything's just great in this movie. It's really, really fun, and the kills are spectacular. This was really just such a fun movie. I gave it a 7 out of 10. I'm not going to go deep into it anymore. I have the review right here, if I remember to put it. And War Driver. I believe this was a Hulu, Netflix, Paramount. It was a streaming release, and I wasn't too excited for this. I like Dane DeHaan, and I think he's really great. And I thought it was kind of perfect timing because me and my friend were just talking about the Amazing Spider-Man and how much I really don't like him in that movie. I do like Dane DeHaan as an actor, and I think he did good here. War Driver, though it is very, very basic, it's still very intriguing, and it keeps you sucked in for most of the movie. I think towards the end, I got a bit out of it, but I think it's still very worth watching. If you have whatever streaming, I can't remember what I watch this on. If you have the streaming service that this is on, I recommend it. It's very fun. It's only 90 minutes, I believe, and I don't think it's anywhere near these two I have up here, but I am giving it a 6 out of 10. And for my bad this week, I was kind of debating putting this in good. I wasn't sure what Mike and Alice, or Nick and Alice, where it was heading into this. I didn't even see the poster for it. I didn't even think twice about the name, to be honest. So when the twist happened, I thought it was hilarious and really fun. But unfortunately, I think after the halfway mark, or specifically after the scene where, uh, one of the Nicks is on the roof with a sniper rifle, and the cannibalist comes in to, uh, you, you know, take Mike. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, take Mike and, eat him. I think everything after that scene just falls apart. It becomes unbelievably boring, and it's why I'm putting it in bad. Like I said, on a good day, I think this cast was really fun, and some of the sequences were pretty fun, but most of it is really just first half heavy, and this was a Hulu streaming release, and this does very much feel like an early 2000s movies, or like a mid 2000s movie that your dad might take you to see one of those days. But unfortunately, those have become streaming movies, and this very much feels like a streaming movie. I don't know, the second half was just so unbelievably boring. I really wish that whole sniper rooftop scene was keeping the momentum going, and you have the Gilmore girls, like, little banter they do. I thought that was gonna make this chemistry between the four of them work really well, but it just really falls off, and it gets really boring, and the whole movie just tapers off towards the end. So I am giving it a 5 out of 10 instead of maybe a 6. I don't know. This is really like, are you in a good mood movie or not? Because, um, I was in a good mood, but I still thought it was pretty mid towards the end. And for the ugly, we have two really, really ugly movies. If you haven't seen my AI doc review, I'm not going to go into it anymore. This could be a 1 on a worse day for me, but I still do think it's semi-informative of AI in the future and what it's already done and its capabilities. So I'm not going to give it a 1 just because of that. And I do have a full review for it, and it was a pretty angry review. If you haven't seen that, I'll put that over here, hopefully. I'm giving it a 2 out of 10. I just thought it was so unbelievably lackluster. I'm not sure. This was just such a disappointment, and heading into this, I wasn't expecting much, but it was. I don't know. They really dropped the ball on something that I didn't even think could have been that great. And for the other ugly movie this week is an actual movie and not a documentary. We have The Mortuary Assistant, a movie that released in theaters, I believe, in early February, which I was super excited to watch. Unfortunately, none of the theaters near my house had it to watch in theater, so I had to wait for the Shudder release, which happens a lot, sadly, and it's kind of disappointing. There's so many movies that Shudder releases in theaters for like a week, and sometimes my theaters just don't get it. Most of the time, my theaters just don't get it, and Mortuary Assistant was one of them. And I have to say I'm super happy because this movie was unbelievably horrible. If I knew this was based off a video game, I probably would have given it less slack, but I didn't know that until after the movie ended. And yeah, no, this is horrible. Another very, very horrible video game adaptation. And not only that, another very, very horrible horror video game adaptation. I just don't think we can never go the right route with these movies. The horror is very, very poopy. The acting is unbelievably bad. Once again, this is a Shudder movie, so this is made by a smaller director, a smaller cast, a smaller crew, everything like that. But I don't know, you just can't get those points every single time. When the acting is very, very horrible, like in this movie, even though you have a smaller cast, crew, whatever, it doesn't really matter. It's just so unbelievably bad. I am giving it not 1 out of 10, but a 2 out of 10, just because I do think some of the makeup on the monster was pretty decent, and some of the prosthetics were pretty decent in this movie. But other than that, this is just a horrible shithole. It's not scary. It started off pretty like tempting, like this might be a decent movie, maybe a 6 or 7 out of 10, but nope, it doesn't get any better. And this was unbelievably horrible. So hopefully Shudder starts releasing some bangers soon, because it feels like I'm just watching garbage left and right, which is bound to happen when you're releasing like 1,000 movies every month. Exaggeration, of course, but I don't know. Shudder has its bangers in there. I want more of them. But this is a video game adaptation, so maybe I should give it the benefit of the doubt, or give them the benefit of the doubt. Enjoyed this episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly? Let me know in the comments below whether you agree on any of my choices. And if you want me to do a full-length review on any of the movies that I didn't do this week, also let me know in the comments below. Or if I missed a movie, period, that released this week. I always try to watch as many movies as I can, but, not possible all the time. If you want to see past episodes of The Good, Bad, and the Ugly from this year, that should be right here in this playlist right below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do that right here. See you guys next week.